Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides back at home plate where I spend most of my time if I'm not filming. And guess what? We have some big news coming from Ford. It's the all new redesigned 2021 Ford F-150. When I think of F-150, I think of apple pie, I think of hot dogs, I think of Americana. The F-150, the F-Series, has been that top selling truck for 43 years, which is mind blowing. And I know we've had discussions of where they've been lacking as of recent memory, especially when we compare them to some of the competition. But I am truly impressed with what Ford is bringing, and I can't wait to dive in and walk you through. So here's how it's going to work. We're going to see some footage. Remember, this virtual unveil we're still doing until the auto shows start back up, and I get my hands on these hands. I want to get on these new vehicles. We're going to start with some B-roll footage that was provided by Ford, and we're going to look at the outside. We're going to look at the interior, and then I also want to focus on some of these new touches. There's some special touches which are class leading that are just mind blowing, and then of course we're going to talk engines and all the different types of ways to power your F-150. So let's go ahead, without further ado, 2021 F-150. Let's do it. Here we go. There it is, the F-150 2021. Loving what they did with the grille. They really modernized the F-150 the way it already looked and did some nice touches. You can see the tailgate on this limited trim, but just rolling down the road, I like the bright silver along the bottom. You got those chrome tow hooks at the front end. Now, when we're talking about is this a strong F-150, this is the highest level of strength of any F-150. We're also talking some masterful aerodynamics. You have active shutters and also an active air dam that will drop at speed to increase that aerodynamic efficiency. Now, the great news is not only when you look at the outside, we have some new touches, of course, with the wheels. We have 6 different powertrains, and then there's some special touches like a first time ever power tailgate, which I think would be very usable for people on the go or also at a work site doing some contracting and whatnot. But very bold at the front. I'm still not digging. I'm going to zonk the emblems that they put across the hood. I wish that they would just sink those in and make it a little bit more aerodynamic. I'm loving the side vent. That's been something that's always been a nice touch on the F-150s, especially the way it says what trim level it is on that side vent. It's got a nice shape to it. Loving the LED headlight design. There's that vent I was telling you about. I think that the way they took the brushed silver, the wheels on the Limited, that multi-spoke, very, very clean. And then really that front grille space, having that Ford emblem integrated in there with the forward-facing camera, that open rectangle area in the lower portion of the front fascia. This is one of my favorite trims here. I love the way that they blacked out the grille. The Limited, I know, is all about glitz and glam, but I'm telling you, even on other trims, you're going to get some great style. And with this particular setup, especially with that magnetic gray, that's probably going to be one of my favorite colors in the whole Ford color palette. You're going to get some nice blacked out features, which kind of offset the magnetic gray nicely. And then even as you're seeing here, that beautiful red with the chrome trim, the door handles, the chrome trim along the bottom of the window sill area. It has familiar lines, but also those new touches, which make it say, hey, is that the new F-150? And I like that, especially the way they did the daytime running lamps. Obviously, the one thing I'm a little looking at the back, the rear taillights, I'm not 100% sold on. I need to see it a little bit more in person, but panoramic sunroof there, looking good as this guy's backing his boat into the water. And this is some of the great stuff. Look at this. You're talking about hybrid technology on an F-150, class leading for the first time. You got a tailgate that you could actually work off of. You could actually turn it into your workbench, do some sawing, do some cutting, and they have it perfectly laid out. Now, There, like I said, there is going to be the first time ever hybrid F-150 pickup truck, which we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But you can see how they put fine details, even measurement ability into that rear tailgate. And when you look at this truck and all the features, they really did take into consideration that working person, that working man or woman that's on the site. But I think a lot of us who maybe aren't doing these particular jobs can take advantage of all these nice additions, especially when you're going to Home Depot or Lowe's and you got to strap some stuff down and you got the tailgate down. Look at how they've taken all those locations so you could get your come along, ratchet it down. Everything is nice and secure. Look at this, lockable storage. That's another nice thing, especially if you have kids and you do have certain tools underneath there you don't want them to get their hands on. I love that idea of having that lockable storage. And then look, it just folds down nice and neat, super clean. Here's another favorite. And I've actually had this problem when I'm in a truck and I have my laptop. Look at that. You push a button, the console shifter folds down. You then take the armrest and now you're able to do your work. And I think another great feature is if somebody needs to get in a few Z's, a quick nap, you have this ability to recline the seats in a flat position to have a nap. And that exterior lighting, those are the touches I think that people are going to really fall in love with when it comes to the 2021 F-150. Now, specifically, as we dive into the interior, I fell in love with this dash. Beautiful, the color, the font. Look at how you have the different drive modes. They did a bang up job in the interior, which they did. They had to really bring it all, and 12 inches, they got it. That 12-inch infotainment system screen is going to make the Ram truck, I think, a little jealous, and I can't wait to get behind the wheel of one of these new F-150s and really showcase. But we're talking about wireless, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Look how nice it's integrated. It's not a tablet just stuck on. That idea with the folding shifter is spot on the money. Even the way, if you look closely around the AC controls where you have your plug-in outlets, they kind of just molded it in a little bit more to where it just fits. It's a cleaner look rather than everything just like slapped on. Yeah, easy access, but you do want a little bit of aesthetics. I mean, I know that's how I am. I want my truck to look good and also perform well. And that steering wheel, great job. That dash, look, I mean, look, from all the way from this distance, you could see exactly what's going on there with the readouts, your speed, all that good stuff. Now, what I did was I put in a slow motion the feature of that center console shift. The person there is then flipping down the armrest, and now you have workable storage. To me, that's ingenious. And that's what I love about this F-150. Well, one of the many things with the new F-150. They've actually taken, it's not just about making it look good, but also giving you more functionality. Look at that lockable storage. That's where you actually have that ability to lock it there. Everything nicely out of the way underneath that rear passenger seat. There's the active arrow. So active arrow has been something that you've only seen on sports cars going all the way back many, many years. But now we're seeing it used very efficiently on large vehicles to make it more aerodynamic efficient down the road. Power tailgate. I love the way it has that remote tailgate option. Great use. My question is if the battery goes dead, is there ability to manually bring that down? This is probably one of my favorite wheel combinations on this particular F-150 they have here. And of course, the all-new sync system, Sync 4. And I think the biggest news that most people want, if not everybody, when they're asked, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's that 12-inch screen. The graphics, everything's super clear, and I love that there's not a bunch of gloss black everywhere. And it's very, very well laid out. They should have done this on the Ford Explorer, but I'm glad that they're bringing it and bringing it in a big way on this F-150. You could see that total light up where you need to go, that zone lighting. I think that's ingenious, especially with that bright LED light when you go camping or you're somewhere extremely dark and you need to illuminate what the heck is going on. That backup, trailer backup assist camera setup makes towing so much easier, and especially if you are new to the towing game. So very nice that they have that all squared away. Now what I did is here I want to show you the information that they brought. So we're going to have the XL, XLT, Lariat, the King Ranch, the Platinum, and the Limited. Just like before, there are 3 engine options. There's a total of 6. So you have the 3.3 liter V6, and then you're also going to have that EcoBoost, and then you have the good old naturally aspirated V8. I think the most exciting bit of news is going to be the hybrid engine. Now, what's great about the hybrid setup is that you actually can option in what's being called the Pro Power Onboard, which Pro Power Onboard is basically you have a power generator. Just like you saw that worker at the start of this video, the construction worker using his saw and all that, that's all being run off of the generator that's being used because of that hybrid setup. Now with the hybrid setup, it's a class exclusive 3.5 liter power boost engine that they're calling, 700 miles of range. And there you can see right there, the rest of the lineup. That last one is that power boost setup that, like I said, class leading, 700 miles of range, and you have a 12,000 pound towing capacity, and you still have even the Power Stroke turbo diesel. So they really have you covered with this F-150. Gonna still have the 10-speed automatic transmission. Now what's unique is if you go with the hybrid, you're actually gonna have a 10-speed, it's almost like a hybrid transmission, a 10-speed with an electric motor integrated into it. It's a 35 kilowatt electric motor, and that's what's going to give you that great ability to have the lithium ion battery and have it recharging. You do get regen braking, so regenerative braking, which is almost like a necessity when it comes to a hybrid setup. And what I did was I kind of took a screenshot to showcase what that hybrid setup is going to look like underneath all the sheet metal. So you can see you have that 10-speed modular hybrid transmission that's with the electric motor built in. You got your lithium ion battery, and the way they laid everything out looks very, very smart. And from my experience with hybrids, especially vehicles that are even like performance oriented, it actually helps with the handling because you're lowering the center of gravity with the hybrid setup. So that might actually be like a twofer where you're going to have the ability to have that 700-mile range, but yet the truck is also going to drive even better than your standard F-150. Going back to that whole Pro Power Onboard system, it gives you enough power to where you can actually use 28 fridges, 28 standard refrigerators you could run off of this setup. That's the kind of power that it's bringing. And I really think the other smart thing is the max recline seating. I know for some people, especially that got to wake up early, or maybe you're out late and you're at a job site and you got to wait for somebody to show up, having that max recline seat option, if you noticed in the video, the bottom portion actually rises, so you're going to get a nice surface to take a nap on or to catch some Z's while you're waiting, or say you're there early or whatnot. And I think the other big key feature is that tailgate work surface area. I think that's a system that not only can people in different industries utilize that while they're working, but I think people just doing regular around the house stuff. So this really showcases what Ford has brought with the new F-150. Right now, I'm very impressed. Not a lot of zonks that I can see. That interior is really well laid out. I'm digging the all-new 12-inch display, not only for the gauge pod, but also for that infotainment system. Of course, just like always, we're going to be bringing you all the different trims on Rady's Rides once these become available. Especially, I'm looking forward to that hybrid setup in the F-150. But I want to definitely thank Kristen and Deborah for getting me this information. They're over at Ford Corporate, so thank you so much for doing that for Rady's Rides. And if this is the type of stuff you want to see, where we're bringing you the unveils virtually because we can't be at a show right now because there aren't any shows, if you want to keep seeing that, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. We got the new On Throttle shirts because of my wonderful wife. Created that. Speaking of my wonderful wife, show her some love in the comment section. She sets up the Rady's Rides Bat Cave, and allows me to just focus on bringing the information to you. So Lori, you're great. We all know it. And show her that love in the comment section. Just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.